You're listening to the Mind of a Boyfriend podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Mind of a Boyfriend. Man, I
Not
think
a
we
girlfriend, a boyfriend.
a
Yes.
boyfriend. I think we need another intro because this one sounds violent. It's like, yeah, you're here, you're getting into the mind of a boyfriend, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I think the best way to go about it without actually raising any suspicions or being backlashed for it is just use the abbreviation.
Mob,
I
welcome
think.
to
Yeah.
Mob. And then now it sounds like some demon in the Bible. There was some demon called Mob, right?
I think so. I don't know. I didn't do divinity, nor do I read the Bible that much, but I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah. Oh well.
yeah,
Mom.
you might be right. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, the Mind of a Boyfriend is a platform that's very friendly, and we say nice things about, well, relationships, dating, and everything, all from the viewpoint of a boyfriend. And occasionally we curse quite a lot, actually. So, Q and this is Lance. Why am I saying this is Lance
And
when
I
you're here?
vow I vow to not curse as much as I can today. I hope. Last time, that's the mindset I had. And literally 2 minutes into the call, I was cussing like no man's business. I think it was because of the topic. So in my head, I was like, okay, no, I was about to say it again, so I'm not going to say it. So yeah.
Man. So the topic that we have today is loosely based on some episode we did, but we didn't publish because wait, what happened? The one about divorce? We lost
I
things.
think it's, what happened? Let's see. Oh no, yeah, I think the application crashed and then we failed to like retrieve the data or the audio, or it refused to convert, some weird technical difficulty, gibberish stuff. Point
And
is, we couldn't publish it because of what happened, and well,
we got screwed.
I,
Like
yeah, we were screwed.
proper
But yeah,
screwed. But hey, so this one is loosely based on that. We're talking about valid reasons for a breakup because the divorce one felt too serious. But then I'm like, for you to get married and then break up with the person, it kind of has the same elements, right? Things that you can
I think
break.
it's all the same.
Exactly. You can
Only
break up
difference
before
is
you get
one
married.
just includes cows and stuff, but yeah, it's all the
The
same.
other one is cows and feeding strangers.
Yes, yes.
Pretty much that. So valid reasons. The first one, using shorthand. Okay, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Ah, yeah, no, I did not see that one coming, but that actually makes sense. I think that actually falls under X. If I'm not,
Yeah,
I mean, hear me out. I mean, why take all the time in the world to find the shortest way to write a word when you can just literally type the word? There's even autocorrect at this point. You
yeah,
can even check the word is correct if you're not sure. There's even auto punctuation. Like there is no way you can actually mistake. Like even if you don't know English, it will put a red line under the statement if it's wrong or anything. It's basically gonna write it for you.
yeah. It's just lazy, bro. And there's literally some person that I used to talk to, and she just said, I am lazy to type," and then that was the end of it. Like, if you're lazy, why the hell are you talking to me?
Well, personally, I feel like I maybe this might be far fetched, but this is my opinion. It's meant to be raw. Cool. I feel like shorthand, as much as it looks innocent, because it's just a preference for someone to like type words and they look like hieroglyphics and stuff, but it
Yeah,
actually also reflects on someone's personality or the kind of person they are or the characteristics of a person in a sort of way. Like there's a certain group of people who actually
yeah,
use shorthand and they all have this same element and mindset and thing. I
yeah.
think that's why I'm so selective when it comes to like shorthand, because there is no way in hell you're gonna come across I don't even know how to put this
You're trying to be nice,
without
but
cussing.
you don't
Yeah,
want
I'm
to
trying
call
to be
people dumb.
nice. No, no, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm
But
just saying, man.
there's a certain group of people who use shorthand,
Yeah,
and already in my head, I've noticed I can never really click with that kind of person. Like having to actually explain to them why they shouldn't even use shorthand or why shorthand is even weird is just using so much energy. And half the time they're triggered and they're pissed, but they know
Yeah,
it's true.
it is. It
They
is.
know it's true. Like the
It's
only way you can actually be pissed about something is if you actually relate to what
what
I'm
is
actually
being
saying. I
said.
mean, if I come to
Yeah.
you and call you fat, if you're not fat, why are you offended?
You see? Yeah. No, well, that's how the
So,
truth is. Like when it comes to these things, you if you're right, you'll get a reaction. You always get a reaction
mhm,
if you're right.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so maybe that one was just jokes. But then well, valid reasons for a breakup. Inconsistencies when it comes to
Mhm.
like relationships. You know, it's like today you're lukewarm, tomorrow you're hot, the next day you're ice cold, and then today you like me for some reason, you want to give me all the attention, and then the next I'm like a stranger to you. And then it goes on and on and on for some time. It gets to a point where it feels like the relationship is one-sided, right? It feels like you're forcing things, and the moment you feel like you're forcing things, that's valid enough to leave, bro. Cause why? Why are you
Yeah,
forcing
that's
things?
actually, yeah, I feel like your partner shouldn't even put you in such a position. Like, if you ever find yourself feeling like that in a relationship, like a well-established, proper relationship, not a talking phase, not
Yeah,
a friends with benefits, no, like a proper relationship, and you actually get to a point where you feel like that, especially if you point it out and that person still makes you feel that way.
yeah,
I mean, what? Why are you still there?
yeah. You
You
can't.
know,
You
at
can't be
this
there.
point, you can't be there. You know. So, well, I think it also comes down to communication, which is a very, very, very big thing for me. Because, like what you're saying, some days the person is jovial, they're happy, everything is ecstatic, everything is fire, it's flames, a perfect ass relationship, right?
Yeah,
And then you wake up the next day, this person mises you. You can see that they're online, but then they're not talking to you for whatever reason. You didn't fight the previous day. Nothing
yeah,
went wrong. This person is just acting weird, you know? And then the next day, they want to fight you or whatever the case is. The next day, they're apologizing for whatever they did the day before or whatever the case is, which is, I'm not saying it's normal, right? But then if you then communicate with your partner, okay, so I'm going through this, that,
mm-hmm.
that way, when someone reacts in a certain way, you know why exactly they're being like that at that point. If they're unavailable over the phone or via texts, or they're actually online and not talking to you, at least if the person tells you that, okay, no, the reason why I'm not texting back is because I'm actually studying and I'm using a group chat on WhatsApp, and that's the only reason why I'm actually online. But apart from that, I'm just busy with school. That's why I'm not returning your text.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
if they're acting weird, if it's because they're on their cycle, or something genuinely happened at work or something, it could be basically anything. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as you tell the person whatever the hell is going on, you're both on the um same level. You know exactly what's happening. you know
yeah,
Instead
yeah,
of being left in the dark and then they wake up the next day and then they're now just happy. If they even apologize, if they do apologize, you're actually lucky. Some don't even see the error in what they actually did.
Most girls don't know
When
how
you
to
then,
say sorry, bro. It's like it's not in their vocab. It's impossible. I think they might break or die if like they say sorry. Ladies apologizing, bro. That's unheard of.
no,
That is unheard
I,
of.
I don't know. I honestly don't know why girls find it hard to apologize.
They're always right,
You
right?
know, I don't know if it's because they always, I don't know. Like, okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah,
When as a guy, right? If your girl comes to you and then says ABCD, blah blah blah, they're pissed about ABCD, you did whatever the hell you did. Your first instinct is to apologize,
yeah,
because whether you like it or not, that actually saves a lot of time. And best believe, yes, you may not be wrong, but to a certain degree, you did do something. I mean, that's why she's pissed in the first place, whether it's small, minor, big, whatever the case is. But the first instinct is to
yeah,
apologize. And it's pretty much it. You'll only like stand your ground if it's something that's ridiculous or it's something that's concurrent or something. Pretty
Yeah.
much that.
Yeah, but then it's something
For
that matters to
girls,
her. So yeah.
yeah, but then for girls, it's either they gaslight you, which is a very, very common one.
Yeah.
Like imagine you catch your girl cheating, and then they are mad because you caught them cheating. Now you have to apologize for catching them cheating. Yeah, and I don't even know how this happens. Like, she will bring up something from 2008, like something so ancient, but then the matter at hand is you did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm bringing it
Yeah.
up because you like it. Just
Yeah.
apologize. It actually saves a lot of stuff. Like, or at least tell me why you did it or why it happened that way. That way we just fix that. It doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
It's shy. But, bruh.
Ah, it's not
Ah,
make sure.
man, it's not make sure, bro.
But
I
man,
think
like,
it's what? It's apologizing and
yeah,
accountability.
yeah, yeah. But then it's like
Yeah.
you brought up a couple of things in what you said because you talked about communication, yeah, and then you talked
Mhm,
about accountability, which are things that most relationships tend to lack towards the end because
mhm,
towards the end it becomes a blame game. And then after that happens, it just feels logical to like, break up. Because if you can't find common ground anymore, then
yeah.
it doesn't work. So maybe closely related to those things, right? People that
Mhm,
fail to compromise, right? So if you're in a relationship and your person doesn't compromise or doesn't really want to, it kind of puts you in a position of like, leaving that relationship. Because it's
mhm,
like,
mhm.
how much can you compromise for one person, right?
Especially if they can't even do the same.
Yeah, right. So it's like a genuine relationship requires compromise, and it's like you have to be on the same footing, right? And then if you can't
Mhm,
find a common ground for a couple of occasions, it gets to a point where you feel like, wait, why am I not being heard? Why am I not being listened to? I do this and I do that, and then you can't, what you call it, you can't respond the same way, right? You can't
mhm,
return
mhm.
the favor. So it makes it a bit hard for you to continue in that relationship. Let's say you compromise on things like, I won't go out as much because you don't go out, right? So you compromise a bit. And then you sacrifice
Yeah,
a few of your friendships. You're like, you know what, I can't have these people around because this, and this might happen because of the relationship, right? You safeguarded. And then you change
yeah.
certain things. Let's say you're a Man U person. I'm joking. I'm not going there. Um,
Yeah, because I was literally about to stand up because me and Manchester United, I'm a Man U person, so I was literally waiting for you. I had ammunition, bro. Like, I was just waiting for you. But it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
that's why you lost to Arsenal. Anyways, um, point there was if they can't compromise, and it's like repeating these things over and over to a point where you're the only one who's compromising and trying to make this relationship work. It's easier to
Mhm.
just walk away, and that's valid enough. Because if I'm to compromise everything, when are you going to do things for me? Because if I'm doing everything for you in this relationship, I might as well just be in a relationship alone, right?
Yeah, yeah, true, true. I
Okay.
think it also comes down to um in as much as you can compromise to a certain extent, I think you also need to know what you want in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like if you get a partner, you need to know things that you can actually compromise on and things that that, okay, no, this if I see this, I don't even bother. I don't even engage in a relationship. And I feel like for the most part, most of these things you get to like notice them. We just tend to, ignore red flags to a certain extent because in your head you're
Yeah.
infatuated, you like this person. But then there's certain things that you actually notice about a person the first 2 months you're with
Oof.
them, 'cause isn't you're gonna date, and then when you date, you're in a relationship, it's pretty much until it gets serious, pretty much. But then as you go out with a person or spend more time with a person, before you actually officialize it, there's certain things you actually see. Because
Yeah.
when you go out on the first two, 3 dates, thing, it's all just a facade. Like at that point, I'm just trying to impress you. I'm gonna spend money and live a tip and blah blah blah. I'm just gonna dress my best. You haven't even seen me in my morning clothes or how I look if I didn't comb my hair and stuff. But then there's certain things that you actually start noticing.
Yeah.
And I feel like as much as compromise goes, you should also stand your ground on certain things that you know you will not budge on, just to avoid all this in the future.
Yeah.
Because imagine how dumb you feel when you realize that no, but I actually saw this. I noticed that this guy is like this,
And
and
then
actually ignored it, only for it to like resurface like 6 months later. And at this point, it's now even elevated or escalated because you
yeah.
overlooked it and left it like that.
Yeah, and it's crazy
Yeah.
how like some people end up mimicking their partners in the name of compromise, and then they're like, I think it's mostly girls though. It's like they'll adopt all the hobbies the guy has, all his
Mhm, mhm,
personalities, and every single
mhm,
item. And then when it gets to a point where we're like, hey, so what really happened? You lost yourself in that relationship. It's because they
mhm,
compromised way too much and they became the other person. Now, when they try to become themselves, they're like, hey, you've changed. Like, no,
mhm,
you didn't change. You started becoming yourself after being so drunk in the other person's compromises, and you've lost
mhm,
yourself in
mhm,
that process. Yeah. So when you start
mhm, mhm.
becoming yourself, and then this person doesn't really appreciate it anymore, it's
Yeah,
valid enough, bro. It's like it's valid. Leave.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I think people need to also make sure that they actually have their own identities.
That's
I
true.
don't know if that makes any sense. How best do I put this?
No, it makes sense.
Like,
It makes sense.
compromise is only to like a certain degree,
Yeah.
like what you're saying, you see most people do it to a point where they actually lose themselves, you know. But then
Yeah.
the question is, do you actually know yourself?
Oof.
Like fine, you're a skateboarding person, like I'm a skateboarding person. But then why exactly did I stop skateboarding because I now have a new partner or whatever the case is?
Yeah.
You know, like why stop certain things because the person said ABCD? Like there's certain things you can compromise with. Like what you say, okay, certain friends don't make sense when you're now in a relationship because of the things that you guys did or what the person does and it doesn't align with pretty much everything. That's how it happens in life. Because married people and unmarried people, yes, you get along to a certain degree, but then there's certain things you can't relate on because you don't even know what the fuck that person is even talking about to begin with. Because
Yeah.
when they tell you that, okay, when you have a baby, when you have a first baby, especially for women, they actually get depressed to a certain degree because everything else is just moving. Because imagine that person is going to spend 9 months pregnant, and then after the 9 months, you still have those 3 months when you're still healing after the baby is a newborn. They're so delicate, you can't even take them outside, and well, basically, you can't leave the baby alone because it's still delicate. So in
Yeah.
all of that, you don't have friends. I don't know why girls do this. Like during that period, all their friends just disappear. Like
Yeah.
they don't even visit here and there, cool, but then they don't even check in on the friend. I don't know if it's because like they now have different priorities or whatever the case is and blah blah blah. So in the end, imagine the amount of depression someone goes through during that period, and even afterwards.
Yeah.
Because really from there, that's when you realize that most people, when they, especially women, when they get older, you realize that most of the friends that they actually had back then, they don't have them anymore. Unless if they all somewhat got the babies or pregnant
At the
or got
same time,
pregnant
yeah.
around the same times. Yeah. So basically they're both mothers at the same time. Yes, maybe very challenging 2, 3 months or 5, 6 months or even a year, but it's pretty much the same period. And now, it's just automatic. So basically they're not probably gonna talk for like a few months, but then after that they're just aligning to pretty much everything, assisting each other with stuff like that. But then the minute it's like one is pregnant, one is a baby, and one isn't,
They start
that's
hating each
100%,
other. They just hate each other, man. Like they just
you know.
hate.
And it's sad, bruh. Like honestly, the one person who's supposed to be there for you when you're going through all that stuff is the one who actually steps away.
Yeah. It's crazy,
You know?
man.
And
I,
there's really nothing you can do because that person still wants to turn up like you guys used to. but then you can't because you have a baby and you have to look after. Then you probably have a husband now because you have a baby together. You have moved in. You have to make sure this man's food is ready on the table at 6, or you want to spend time with your guy, or you just genuinely want to spend time with the baby. Turning up at that point really doesn't cross your mind,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
If you're
I
breastfeeding, you can't even drink alcohol. So, ugh,
that
yeah, well,
sucks. That sucks. I guess this episode is gonna get like two parts because I guess the thing that we're using is running
yeah,
on a low timer. But then maybe I'll go through these just part, and when we're out, and then we get a part two.
all right, cool, cool.
All right, cool. So basically it has to do with lacking certain aspects, right? It's like if you lack compatibility, well, you know, at times it's initial attraction. You like her because she's got bunda, and then after that there's nothing else.
Yeah, that's actually true.
So
Because in as much as that person has, let's just say, physical features, it's actually not what makes up the relationship entirely. Like in as much as this person is pretty, has bunda, small waist, whatever the hell you're into, it's not what actually makes up the entire relationship. There's still a lot of things that you actually need to focus on. And if you don't check if you're actually compatible in those areas, it doesn't work.
it won't work. So that's
It really
valid
doesn't.
enough, yeah. And then there's also you know, lack of I don't want to call it boundaries, but then we already talked about compromise. So maybe let me skip that one, right? But then it's like lack
Mhm.
of trust. Usually it happens when you guys go through something that's hard. And if you don't trust each other or you fail to build that trust, the only logical thing to do next is, you know, break up because it's not going to go away. Like, I'm saying this from experience. I was once in a relationship. Like it was all good. It was all good. We got past whatever we went through, but then months later, that thing was still there, and I decided to just leave. Not that I didn't love the person, but I just couldn't. I couldn't stay anymore. Right. So if a relationship now loses the trust, it loses everything.
Yeah,
That's valid enough to leave.
that is true. I think trust is a really big part of any relationship. I mean, the minute it's not there, yes, it can be broken, it can be restored. It's cool, takes time, pretty much. But then if it's not there entirely, yo, I don't see how that actually works.
Yeah, Ziakala.
Just how
So
does that work?
so the last one for this episode is just growth, right? It could be any kind of growth, and it's valid to, like, you know, live a relationship based on growth. It could be financial growth, it could be personal growth, and usually when you grow, you grow out of certain things, and if your partner doesn't match it, it becomes a bit hard to continue with them because in as much as you love them and they're not growing, man, it's hard. Honestly, it's
You
like
know,
it
this one, this one, Nick,
is the
I feel like
one.
we should touch. Yeah, this one we should touch more on it on the second part because this one has a lot of aspects and branches so that people actually understand what we mean when we
By
say growth.
growth, yeah,
Yes,
because
because growth it's a lot of things. So yeah, no, that one we'll also touch on, especially on part two.
okay,
I think
so
we'll
maybe
start with it. Yeah.
since we're not going to touch that one on part two, we might as well wrap this one up. And yeah, leave it on this note. This is a note that we're going to leave it on. There are a lot of reasons that are valid when it comes to like living a relationship. But then the reason why we end up staying, it's not because we are afraid of what the other person will think, but then we become so attached and we are used to some of these toxic elements to a point that we don't really recognize them until it's too late, right? That's why you find a lot of people stuck in relationships
Yeah,
and they know these things, like they know everything that's wrong. That's why people will fight other women when they know the person is like a serial cheat, and they'll fight other women instead of fighting their person.
true, true, true. All
So
right,
yeah.
all right. I hear you.
Okay, I feel like we have serious conversations, man. These things are scary. Like I'm tempted to say the shittiest things just to dilute this episode, cause ish, bro, What the
Now,
fuck?
well, we have part two for this, because most people don't actually tell each other these things, and
They
then they
don't.
get to like experience them on their own, and then they make up their minds, and then it just basically becomes toxic.
Yeah.
But then these things need to be addressed, so that because now you see when you're kids, Nick, when you're just dating, it's fine. Gets too much, you just break up, you leave, fuck it, yeah, gosh, damn, I just ah.
You took your time. You
Ah,
took your time. I'll give you that
I,
one. You
I,
took your time.
I, I tried. Because I
Yeah.
was like, fuck it. Then I realized I said fuck it. Then I was like, shit. And then in my head, I'm like, shit. I said shit. And then, yo. But
Just
yeah.
stop. Just stop. You're okay. Okay. You were winning. You were
But,
winning. You were winning. Okay.
but yeah. You see, the scary part is, when you're kids, you just basically have fun. You figure out whatever you want. You don't even know what you want at that point. But
Yeah.
then things
With
don't work out. You can just break up. It doesn't affect anything. Doesn't destroy anything. Just move on to the next person. But then
yeah.
when you're now older, when you date someone, you're basically, whether you like it or not, you're actually looking for a partner at
Yeah.
this point. It's less of just having fun, doing it for the show, bunda, blah blah blah. It's now more of
It's a
compatibility,
it's a
trust,
lot at stake.
growth. It's a lot at stake. Or even if you date someone for 2 years, you break up, that actually has an impact on you.
Yeah, for the rest of your
Like
life
it's
actually.
Yeah, it's actually going to affect you whether you like it or not, whether you guys have moved in together or you planning to have babies or whatever the case is. It's a lot of stuff.
And you carry all that to
So
your next relationship.
and you actually carry it, whether you actually realize it or not. And when you actually communicate with your partner, at least they know, okay, no, the reason why this person is actually like this is because in their last one, this
This is
happened.
what
You know,
happened. Yeah.
yeah, this is
So
what happened. So,
we're gonna take all this to the next one, yeah. So it's been crazy and we're wrapping this up. So catch us in the next one, yeah?
all right,
Peace. People still say that.
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't know. Peace.
Peace.